Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Derail Valley. Now it's been a hot minute since I played, but they have updated the game since I have. They've added the slug, which I have been waiting for a while. I did go into the game and test it out a little bit, and I am very excited to show it. We don't have it unlocked yet, but we're going to try to make our way to the harbor today and get that slug. Now, do we have... Yeah, we do have something that can go over. I think I might take a DE2, so we'll leave the SO60 here because we're going to need something to actually use the slug with. Now, this might be a little bit of a longer episode, mainly due to the fact that we're going to have to save for the manual... Or, sorry, the, this one right here. Requires concurrent 1. Do we have that one? Yes, we do. Okay. Well, that would be good. We have train length 1, I believe. Yeah. Okay. So, as I said, they did release the slug to this game. I'm not entirely sure how easy it's gonna be to get it today. This might be like an hour and a half long episode, maybe a bit more. But I'm gonna try to get this slug today. So we might actually do the shunting job that we just took in. I believe it's this one here. Was it? Oh wait, no, it's the all green one. Hold on, let me see here. It should be here somewhere. Okay, here we go. It's not worth that much, but, you know, there's nothing much we can do about that. So we're going to be unloading it at, we're going to be unloading it at C1L, which is this one right here. Right. Alright, so we're going to use the SO60 for now, just because we're here, and we may as well use it. It's cheap to run too, so it's not that big of a deal. Alright. Cool. Let's fill this water up. Now, I'm pretty sure at the end of the last episode we got manual service, and now we're gonna have to worry about servicing this thing manually, so, you know, that's fine. I don't really have a problem with that. It's just, we're gonna have to make sure we don't waste resources. So, gotta disengage that handbrake. And this one too. Now, I know we wanted to get the EOT lantern, but honestly, I'm not even going to bother today, at least. Just because I want to save as much money as I can for what we're trying to get, which is the multiple service plus the slug. So, combined, that will probably cost us 50 grand, which, you know, that's quite a substantial amount of money, but we should be able to get it today if we do shunting jobs and the sort of things like that. Oh, looks like our pressure's pretty good. Let's get this thing moving a little bit. It's been a very big time since I played this last. I think it was like over a week ago. At least on video. It is good to be back, and I am actually really excited to show off the slug, especially with the DE2. The DE2's almost... it does not overheat anymore. Like, you can haul the maximum weight with that thing. The DE6 I still think is underpowered. That opinion hasn't changed. But the DE2, now that's a good locomotive with the slug. Alright, let's get past this switch here. What switch was that? Oh, okay. That just goes to the D yard, was it? Something like that. Alright. Past that switch, and switch that over. believe that's the right one. Yep. Alright, let's reverse this back now. Apply those bricks. Now, the weather forecast is overcast. I'm not sure if there's going to be very much raining, but I guess we'll have to see about that. And we're doing it at B1S, okay. And we're doing fine on pressure. We'll just put the damper all the way down. We don't need any extra pressure. And performance in this game should be marginally better because they added the texture streaming. But, you know, I do still have a pretty strong suspicion that the physics is not very optimized in this game anymore. The physics interaction seems to be causing a lot of FPS drops. So, I don't know, maybe they'll sort that out. They also added a zoom to mouse feature, which is something I suggested along with a few other people. The other guy suggested it to begin with, and then I endorsed it as well, so... But I am glad to see that it is in game because it is a good feature. I like it. Alright, cool. So those are unloaded. So it was like B1S, yeah. So B1S is here. Okay. Let's line us for this one then. We just need to switch one switch, and then we need to go past the other one. I hope you guys are having a good day today. I know it's been going pretty good for me. I've definitely been wanting to get back to Derail Valley. And hopefully you guys enjoy this series. Alright. Yeah, the steam locomotive is kind of easy to manage. It just takes a little bit of practice. But for me, it's kind of just something I do automatically and nothing I really worry about. Now, I am really excited to get to the DE2 and attach it to a slug, because I think that's going to be very fun, and we can really push the limits of it. It looks really weird as well, and I know where to get the slug too. Alright. Now we can switch that one. We should be lined in. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to get it going at 20 kilometers an hour in reverse or so, and I will just hop to the back of the train. So it looks like we're still doing good on water. One thing I have been thinking about recording, is Red Dead Redemption 2. I just got that recently, and I was wondering if you guys would be interested in seeing that. But, you know, I've been kind of just playing a little bit of it on my own just to see what it's like, and I think it's actually a pretty good game, and I think I would be down to record it if you guys want to see that kind of thing. I also got the Assassin's Creed Ezio trilogy, which I love those games, guys. I think the sound design is so perfect and everything about it is just awesome. So if you guys want to see that stuff, just let me know and I can do a playthrough for you guys. Obviously, it's not going to be a blind playthrough, but it'll be a playthrough nonetheless. The only thing I don't like with this zoom to mouse feature is that it seems to be relative to the world, not the locomotive or car that you're on, which should be a relatively simple fix for the devs. It probably isn't that hard to fix something like that, so we might see a patch for that in like a few days or something, like a hot fix or something. But honestly, I do like the concept of it. It just has like a very small bug in it that needs to be rooted out. Alright, cool. So we got 8 grand almost. Let's see, can we do another one before we start going? This one would definitely be worth doing. So SU-76, let's see where that is. It might be this one here. Yep, okay. We're gonna do that, and we should be good to go. I think we'll take a DE2 to the harbor after this other shunting job. If you guys are enjoying this series so far, be sure to drop a like and share it with your friends. It does help me out a lot. Also helps out with some motivation to keep making these videos. Let's get this locomotive where it needs to go. Oh shoot. Hold on. Was this on or no? I think it was. Kinda got worried a little bit there. Cylinder cocks on because I heard a little bit of splashing. You really don't need much reverser when it comes to this locomotive. Not when it's on its own. Alright, so yeah, we can keep it pretty close to center. I guess you need a certain amount of reverser for it to actually register or something. Off the start, at least. We need to go that way, and... Come on. There we go. Coming up on it now. Cool. That's all attached there. Should be good there. Pressure's still looking good. Brakes are coming down. And obviously we'll have to service this locomotive as well, but that shouldn't be no problem. It should also be pretty cheap. SO60 is a very cheap locomotive to run. Oh, we almost forgot about something. Be on the end of it, I guess. And if we don't get the slug today, we'll definitely get it on the next episode. That's probably guaranteed, at least. Alright, let's go now. fill that firebox up. Bring it to C1L, and then we should be able to reverse it back up and find out where everything's going. I do want to play this game in VR, it's just I want to wait till they get done with the optimization so I really know what my graphics setting will be in VR. I definitely don't want to play it in the current state because it's just not optimized enough. Like I said, those physics interactions is likely causing lower FPS values. They need to fix that first and foremost, to be completely honest. Because it doesn't really make much sense for that one guy to have lower FPS and while it's running, and then when he puts it in photo mode, especially like in the harbor, mind you, where it's considered to be the most resource intensive, when he pauses it, it runs 60 plus, and then when he actually gets the game going again, then it's like 30 FPS. Like, that doesn't make much sense. That shouldn't be a VRAM issue or any sort of graphical issue. That sounds to me more like physics issues and misoptimization with the physics rather than the graphics. I mean, I'm getting a relatively consistent 50 plus here. It's not too terrible. Alright, so we're almost there. Should be good soon. Doing amazing on pressure. Now, with the DE2 and the Slug together, I should probably think about getting the Long 2 license at some point. Just because, you know, with the DE2 you can actually haul a decent amount of tons. Like, you can haul more than overhauled. I think you can haul like 500 tons or something like that. Not up the coal mine line, as far as I know. Like, you will bog out on the coal mine line if you're taking like 500 tons or more. But anywhere else, you could probably take a good 600 tons if you're like really going for... Oh, right, I forgot. If you're really trying to like take as much as you can with the D2 plus the Slug, that's probably going to be your best choice, is to take like maximum 600 tons. Alright, now we should be able to unload them. B6X2, okay, so there is 2 of them going to be 1S. Are these ones at the back the ones that are getting unloaded at B1S? Take a look here. 940 405. Okay, yeah, so it does look like these rear ones are going to there. Then these ones are going to C2S. B6S. Okay, here. I'm gonna tell you what. We're gonna take these ones off here. We'll leave those there. And then we'll take these 2 and put them over, where was it? C2S? Which is this one here, I believe. And then we'll go back and attach those ones that we just dropped off. So a bit of like logical planning. C2S is right there. Since it's getting a bit dark, we'll start to turn on our lights. Plus that one too. Max brakes. little bit careful here. I'm gonna kick these cars here. Now, are these too far over? Yeah, they're just a bit far. Now, it looks like we're gonna have to push these anyways. Okay. That's a little bit unfortunate, but, you know, there's nothing you can really do about that. We hit those cars. Alright, that should be good there. Get this to go in the opposite direction. Alright, cool. Now we can go and get the rest of the cars there that I dropped off. A little bit low on water, so we'll just take that up a bit. Slow us down a little bit. Since we're here, we will just apply the handbrakes on this just so it doesn't roll forward or back. Alright, let's get ready to attach these here. So, one of them's going to B1S. Okay, so these two are going to B1S, and then these ones are going to B6S, I think. Yep. So that should be pretty easy. Oh, shoot. Alright. Almost forgot about the water. That should be enough. That worked out pretty well. And release that brake. Cool. So we are maintaining a pretty good amount of steam pressure, even though we are having our damper all the way down. You know, it's when you're shunting, steam doesn't really matter as much. You can go without max steam. When I am out and about taking this little loco on the road, I do tend to keep the damper all the way open just because there's a lot of those times when you just need maximum pressure, like most of the time. Especially if you're going up hills. I mean, once you're going up hills, you're pretty much at that point where, like, you need it anyways. Get that brakes to come all the way down. Heard that little water splashy sound, so we want to make sure our cylinder cocks are open. Get these to go to the rear position. Cool. One thing I wish they would do with these junctions here, or at least these diamonds, is having them actually have... I don't know what the term is, but like, you know, the equivalent to a frog on these switches, where it's not just rails overlapping. As you can see, this physically does not make sense here. Physically, it does not make any sense at all, so... We might actually be able to kick these cars, actually. Yeah, because it does look like there is actually enough room there. Get rid of the air pressure on that one. Is there going to be enough room? Maybe there will. That might be enough. We'll put it there and see if it's enough. If not, then we'll just have to go back and push them in a little bit more. So B6S is the last one. Alright, cool. B6S. Can't tell which one it is, but we'll find out in a second here. The one at the very end. Okay, that makes sense. And we'll kick these ones too, since there's no rail cars already on it, so... Doing good on pressure and doing good on water. Cool. Oh, I thought the switch wasn't aligned correctly. For a second I was like, why? I don't want that. Kicking cars is quite fun if you do it correctly. So at least the locomotive's in a place where we can just push those cars in on B1S if they're not fully in. And that's good there. We'll just put a handbrake on that. And we should be good if we don't need to push the cars in B1S provided. So let's put this into the validator. It does work. Okay. Guess it is good. 16 grand, that's pretty good. What's the damage? Ooh, we're doing good. That's real cheap. We barely have to pay anything. See what I mean, guys? I mean, it's so cheap to run this locomotive. It is really cheap to run it. Cheapest locomotive to run. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go past the switch over there at the passenger yard and just reverse, because I don't want to have to go through all these yards and unnecessary stuff. It's not raining too bad right now. Also, that's one thing as well. The DE2 won't slip near as bad in the rain as well. Or in general, to be honest. With the slug on. It will be pretty much glued to the rails. I still think the DE6 should probably act the way that it does with the slug on, I think. That would be the best way for them to change the DE6, in my personal opinion. I just think that the slug should be like just like a complement to the DE2, like less slippage and slightly less overheating, but not really like, because the DE6 is an endgame locomotive. It's not really meant to. It shouldn't be really overheating regardless of anything. So wasting a lot of steam there, but that's fine. We don't have no load on, so. But yeah, my personal opinion is just that the DE6 should act as if it had a slug on normally, and then when you add the slug on, it should just have a little less overheating and a lot more traction. And maybe like a little less of top speed, because, you know, you got more traction motors with less amps up to them. That's just what I think. Wait, really? The water tower's here? Oh, there's 2 water towers. Oh, in that case, I'm just gonna fill up at the other one, because I really don't care. For a second, I was like, did they change the location of this water tower? But no, that's just a pass-through one, I think. Yeah, you got another one right there. You got a D6, of course. Ooh, we got a DM3 as well. 3 DE6s. That's a lot of DE6s. One thing I don't know for sure, though, is if you can tie 2 DE6s onto a slug and get half of the power from one locomotive and half of power from the other one to go to the slug, rather than just one controlling the slug. I mean, that would be the ideal circumstance, in my personal opinion. But really, I don't know. Looks like the water has come down as well. Open that up. It's so much more quick just to open it up with the mouse mode. Okay, let's see if that's enough. Probably not. Ah, no. That's nowhere near enough. Stop right there. Okay, we need a little bit more. Is that enough? Or is that too much? It might be too much. Yeah, it's too much. Really? Still not enough? Hold on. Where is it? Okay, hold on. Okay, that's probably the best placement we're gonna get. Can you go backwards? No. Hello? Is there... That should be enough, shouldn't it? Okay, maybe we need to go like that. And go forward just a tad bit more. Yep, there we go. We're good. 97 bucks. That's cheap. I think the missions is probably what's the worst for us right now. tad bit forward. There we go. What do you mean there's no vehicle? It's literally right up... Hitboxes are weird, I guess. Man, this is really finicky, isn't it? Like, ultra finicky. And that thing is super ultra finicky. Yeah, this is ultra cheap to run. So we're just gonna blow this thing down, to be honest. Fire's already out, so that's fine. And we shall go over and pay the bill on the steam locomotive. We have 28 grand, so we're actually doing pretty good on money. We have enough to buy the slug, at least. Not the multiple unit license, but we do have enough for the slug itself. Which, if push comes to shove, we'll just pay for the... Oh, right, I forgot. Yeah, you know what? We'll just... We'll pay our copay down a little bit more. As I was saying, if push comes to shove, we'll just buy the slug key and go get it with the D2 without, like, getting the multiple service today. So, let's, I think we're going to take that one there. Just because it's probably the only one we can actually really take for the harbor. So yeah, we'll take this one with a D2. The D2 should be able to do this easily. And once we get to the harbor, we should have the means to do shunting jobs and should be able to save up enough money for the multiple unit license. So once we get over to the harbor with this load, we should be able to get the Steve's garage key, which is probably what I'm going to do immediately. So, D2. Get this thing ready to get going. I'm actually kind of glad to get back to some diesel electric. I'm actually quite satisfied with the diesel electric simulation for the DE2 now. With the Slug, I love the D2. I think that's probably a really strong locomotive for shunting and medium-ish hauling. I think that's a very good choice. As for the DE6, I still think it needs work. As I've said like multiple times already in this video, it does need work. But D2, very strong choice for me. Really, really, really like it. I don't like this reverb though. The reverberation in the tunnels, it kind of just sounds as if you had your door open. Like there's very little difference. I don't know if that's a bug or what, but I'm not a big fan of it. I also play Stormworks if you guys are curious, and I do really like that game too. If you guys want to see that, I can definitely play that too. I made myself a diesel electric locomotive on that game, so I've been kind of just playing around on that game a little bit. So this one's probably, I think I saw it in the B yard, to be honest. I think that's where it is. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw it there. Yeah, this D2 with the slug attached, it is a fucking beast. I'm not even joking. Like, you can haul at pretty much max throttle the whole way, just because you don't overheat at all. Like, I took more than this thing could handle up the coal mine line, and the max that it ever got to was like 117 degrees. Like, it was on the verge of having a diesel electric explosion, but it did not. Like, it held very strong. Like, it would have had a diesel electric explosion provided we started rolling back and I still had full throttle, but as long as we were going forward, it did not blow up. So this thing is pretty much it's a super good choice when you're trying to haul heavy. At least for like medium hauls. If you want to haul really heavy, just go with the S2A2 or the DE6. Like the DE6, I think it is a decent locomotive now. With the Slug, it still could be a little bit better, in my opinion. Like, I think it should be able to hold its own at 25 kilometers an hour or so at max throttle. Other than that, I think the D6 is actually a decent choice, and that's probably what I'm gonna... Well, that's gonna be the next tutorial, but I am actually a little more excited to show off that locomotive. Put that on there now. Alright, I am pretty certain this is the one. 69. Hell yeah, we got the funny number. Alright, so we got this load going to the harbor in town. If I had to guess, it's probably going to the G yard or the E yard. That's usually the most common yards that they go to. I hope it's not the D yard. I really wouldn't want to do that one. E99. Okay, that's perfect. That is picture perfect. Alright. So we're on this one here. This should be off. Yep. Alright, we're good to go. And we're all good to go. Let's start applying some power on this now. The only thing I say you guys would have to like worry about with the DE2 when you have the Slug on is hold on. I lost my train of thought. Yep, I don't know what I was gonna say. That's it happens, I suppose. Well, we're gonna take this down to the harbor anyways. We should be able to get... I don't know, should I get the multiple unit license first or the Slug first? I think we'll get the Slug, yeah. Or we could do shunting jobs and then get both at the same time. We'll find out. We'll decide that when we actually get there. I'm not sure if this is what I was gonna say about the D2 plus the Slug, but it is something I'm gonna say now. The Slug does not increase load rating. You can't take more than the traction motors can handle, or at least your electricity production on the locomotive. That's something you gotta keep in mind. Just because you have a Slug does not mean more power. It just means you got your power that you currently have spread across more axles. And since the Slug has traction motor blowers, that just makes the D2 such an unbelievably overpowered shunter. Like, it is probably the most overpowered in the game right now, I'd say. You probably have the DM3 that's after that, just because it can haul so much more. But at this current point in time, the D2 plus Slug is a very strong combination. Excuse me. We got 60s on. I don't think I mentioned this, but we don't have fast travel in this game mode. So even if we wanted to fast travel, we can't. This is 70 zone, so we should be fine. And the only thing that's unfortunate about the DE2 Plus Slug is it does not have dynamic braking. The Slug is capable of dynamic braking, but since the DE2 doesn't have a lever in the cab for it, you can't make use of it. So that is an unfortunate thing. Let's see, is this a 60 zone up here? I'm mildly concerned that it is. We'll slow down to 60 anyways. It doesn't hurt to be on the cautious side. So, likely the next few episodes are just gonna be mostly DE2 plus Slug, if I had to guess. Just because, you know, we gotta show it off, you know. I mean, it's a new edition, so I think that's probably fitting to show it off at least a little bit in game on the career series here. It's always so atmospheric driving at night in this game. Like, man, they did good work with this game. They did amazing work with it. I really gotta give props to them. I'll start slowing down a little bit here. Like, if I just start using the mouse to zoom, you can kind of see it just, like, drifts a little bit. Like, if I point it in the middle of this, it, like, doesn't go into the middle. It's just because the camera's not really relative to the world. Or, sorry, not relative to the cab of the locomotive, which is probably something that they didn't really anticipate. So I can kind of understand that. So this is 30 zone over here. So we want to just slow down a little bit. Keep it slow. So we're at 30, so we should be good. Just apply a little bit of throttle just to keep the speed up. The only thing that I don't like about these locomotives is that the throttle lever is in both directions. Like, I don't like that. Like, I would understand if the DE2 had a high and a low, but it doesn't. So, you should just have the off position here, and then you just go down to push it. Just so that, like, especially in VR, like, if you want to do a horn sequence, you gotta have your hand at a very specific point in the screen, which is kind of I don't really like that. You'll have times when you're trying to do a horn sequence, but you'll just be like, sort of just doing this. It's kind of frustrating sometimes. I remember a lot of times in Overhauled when I just throw this thing in reverse to emulate dynamic braking. wasn't very much dynamic braking, but it was emulated, sort of, kind of like it. Got a 30 zone coming up anyway, so you can take it at 40, I'm pretty sure, but it's just to be safe. I've seen people take it at 40. We'll just take it at 35. Actually, you know what? I think I know what I'm gonna do. Is I'm gonna take the Slug. I'm gonna buy the Slug license once we get to the harbor. We'll go pick it up, and then we will bring it back to the harbor, and then we'll end the episode there, and then maybe on the next episode we can do a little bit of shunting work with the Slug. Or probably not with it, but, you know, we should have next episode be mainly shunting to buy the multiple unit license. I think that's what we'll do. And since I know where the Slug is, usually, it shouldn't be that difficult to find it. But it's a very slow route. Very, very, very slow. There's speed limits that are like 10 kilometers an hour, which is the slowest that I've ever seen in this game. And also, I think the curves there would be literally impossible for like real-life locomotives to get by, just because of the physics. Like, the buffers would be too close together, they'd be compressed fully, and they couldn't go further, yet you're still turning farther than they can handle realistically. But, you know, it's just a game, obviously, so that doesn't really come into account anyways, but just something I thought was kind of a little bit funny. The good thing about the zoom to mouse feature is once you let go, it goes right back to where it started. So I think that's kind of that's why I like it so much. Is, you know, at first they said it wouldn't be worth the hassle to do the thing, but everyone just kind of just agreed that they wanted this feature, so I'm glad that they listened to the community, and that's what good developers do, is they listen to their community, and that's why this game is succeeding so much, is because the developers are listening to what the community wants, and that's the best thing for a game. I think that's very awesome of them to be listening to what the community actually wants. The only thing that they don't really listen to is people wanting multiplayer, which, you know, I can understand. It's very difficult to implement. So, I mean, yeah, you can only do so much in that respect. Though I do think that they could probably try to add like a limited co-op, as in somebody's dispatching with a map, and then you got all your switches and then AI trains. This would be like for Foundation 4, obviously, and then you could just basically you'd have one guy in the game like me, and then you'd have one guy having the dispatching screen telling you where all the trains are and changing the signals for you and stuff like that. So I think that would be probably something they could actually realistically do. Because a full-blown co-op is way too difficult, but I feel like co-op like that would probably be actually feasible. So we're about to go on to a climb, but it should be fine. We'll just need to slow down to 50. We only need to bleed 10 kilometers an hour. So that one is actually set to the right way. I guess we did come from the harbor before. Right, I remember that. So we're going right back where we came from on the last episode. We'll just get us to go max throttle just for now because we want to... This is an uphill and we want to keep our speed up this, so... I am super excited for the Slug. That is something I am very excited for. Just imagine carrying 400 tons like this up a steep grade at max throttle the whole way up. I mean, that would be awesome. And that will be awesome, because we're going to be doing that once we can. We're going to be pushing this thing to its limits out of the harbor. We're doing pretty good on our temps, not too bad. We'll speed up to 80, or sorry, 60. As you can see, we're not heating up too much. That's mainly because we are not hauling heavy, though. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to release a sort of before and after for the DE2. One with just the D2 and then one with the D2 plus the Slug, just to show the differences and what you can do. I think that'd be kind of cool. Alright, we're at a decent speed. We're going a bit over the speed limit, but that's fine. We're not going to derail. And since we have to worry about diesel cost, we're gonna chill out on the throttle for a little bit. We'll keep it at the current throttle setting, but we want to just make sure we're not wasting fuel. Because we could send it at max throttle, but that's just kind of wasting fuel at that point. Alright, cool. We'll just have it at this throttle setting, that should be fine. We'll do one more. Fuel, it's looking good, yeah. D2 is more expensive to run than the SO60, but it should still be fine, I think. Man, I love the suspension. That is probably one of my favorite features that they added with Simulator. It just makes the cab feel like it's actually interacting with the world, because before it just felt kind of bland and mundane. It didn't feel like a real train. It just... Now it feels like you're actually in a train driving on actual real rails. And some people complain about it. I don't know why. Like, maybe from a VR perspective it might make you a little bit motion sick, but I mean, to be honest, that's just kind of the whole point with trains. I mean, if you're getting nauseous at that, then maybe VR is not the best thing for you. Because I don't get nauseous very easy. I think maybe it might have to do with the fact that some people are maybe like a little bit car sick, like they get car sick or something, and then that might be contributing to VR nauseousness or something like that. So I mean, if you do get car sick, maybe this VR stuff is not particularly for you. You might be better off in just standard mode. So yeah, we're keeping it at a relatively low throttle. We don't need too much amps. We don't need to go super fast. We're pretty much at our top speed anyways. We could go 5 kilometers an hour faster, but that's not going to make much of a difference. I don't know, guys. I really like the D2 now since they added the slug. I'm really excited to get into it. I know I've said it like 50 times already in this video, but I just can't overstate my excitement. So we're already at an hour into recording. It might be a bit shorter in the actual, because I am going to edit it, it might be a bit shorter after that, but you're probably looking at about an hour and a half episode or something like that. Maybe an hour 15, something like that. Just because picking up the slug might not take too long. I guess we'll see. I'm not sure how long that's going to take. So we just cut the throttle because, you know, we really don't need to be going too fast. Plus we have to slow down up ahead anyways after the tunnel. Slow down just a tad bit. If you guys want to let me know, do you guys prefer less commentary or do you guys prefer more? Because I don't really know. I am more or less kind of new to like content creating. You know, I don't really know when I should be talking or when I shouldn't. So if you guys just want to let me know if my talking is good or if it's not, it would be appreciated. I think it's the next speed limit is a 50 zone. I probably missed the sign. I do miss signs quite often, so. Man, I remember the good old days when this thing was like in its beta stage. I remember playing it, having that little coupling attachment here. I think they replaced it with the breaker panel, but man, I remember that. That is a blast from the past. Like the physics and just everything about the game has like gotten better by like 100 times since it's released. I remember I played this when it was still in its like, not like the alpha, but like the beta, when they had this world and, you know, you had no like coupler or anything like that. You just like the phantom couplers and the bad derail physics. I remember playing it when it was in that stage, and it's really come a long way. This is a 40 zone, so we should be good. 70. We ain't going 70, that's for sure. I'm sticking with my speed. We'll actually put a little bit of brakes on, because we do need to slow down to 40. That really tripped me up when they switched these brake levers up on simulator. I'm always so used to this one here being the train brake and then this one being the independent. Like, I've already gotten used to it. My muscle memory has been attuned to this now, but that was like the weirdest thing when I first got into simulator. I was really confused over that. I always remember having like conspiracy theories, not personally, but like I always remember seeing conspiracy theories about simulator being just like a fake update that the devs were just trying to get people to buy more of the game, but like that really makes no sense at all. Personally, I just think the developers are perfectionists, you know, they try to get every single bug before they can release the update, because they probably could have released it earlier if, you know, with like a few minor bugs and stuff like that, but I guess they probably were really trying to get every single bug that they could out. Either it's that, or maybe the way that they're doing their code. I don't know if it's like, if their code is messy or something. Maybe they were just making a lot of bugs because they were, like, their coding language is not that great or something. But, you know, I really don't know the context of the situation, so for all I know, it could have actually had just a lot of bugs. I don't know if it was their fault or not, but I don't know. I guess they're the only ones who would know that. All I know is that they delivered an amazing update, and it was definitely worth the wait. So we're going to E9I, that's going to be on the right, I believe. That's usually the one on the right. Usually it's E8I or E9I. So we're pretty much good now. Let's turn it to dim. So E9I, and then validate. So it's pretty easy. I wish these were kind of openable. I wish these windows were openable. Got a DH4 and a DE6 and two A2s. What about in that slot there? That slot is empty. Is it always only 4 that spawn there? I can't remember. So I think I see the lane that we're going into. It's that one right there. We just need to get within range of it. That one needs to go that way. Okay, there we go. And that one over there needs to go that way. I think we're all lined in now. At 30 kilometers an hour, so that's pretty good. I'm pretty sure that's the recommended yard speed, but you know, I really don't care. I usually go 40 in the yards anyways. Just because I like to live dangerously. So that's where we get the slug key over there. And max brakes. Come on. There we go. And we'll service this locomotive after we get the slug. Just because I don't want to pay for it twice. Alright, let's redeem this job here. A little bit of damage. Okay. 13 grand. Pretty good. And we'll just pay that one off. Really? Remaining copay though, it says 765. That's weird. I thought I would have only had to pay that much. Okay, that's weird. I don't know. I don't know how that works. Let's go buy the slug key then. Alright, let's see here. Shop. Steve's garage key. $20 grand. We actually only have to pay $10,000 more for the actual multiple service, but the multiple unit license, but we also have to repair the locomotive, so it's probably a bit more than that. Why is this thing off? I didn't click it on the... Oh, I did, I remember. I did do that, okay. I was really confused for a second there. Alright, let's go get the slug. I'm actually glad we're getting the slug this early on because it is very useful. So, slug is right there. Bottom right of the map there. So we'll pull up, past that switch and reverse back. It's a very slow route. Like, mostly consists of 10km/h speed limits. But we should be able to do it anyways. I'm kind of curious how this thing's going to take the corners, at least the slug. I mean, the DE2 is probably going to have an easy time getting around those corners, but like, the slug probably realistically would be on its knees when it comes to that. Is it that one there? Oh, maybe it is. Yeah, it is that one. We got a 60 zone initially. I think it'd be really funny if the DE2 can haul itself up this hill. It obviously will be able to, but I think it would be kind of funny if we couldn't. We got a 60 zone, so we may as well punch it to 60. And then we got a 40. Looks like the grade's going to do most of the work for us, for slowing us down. Yeah, this is a really steep grade. You can tell it's like super steep. This is like, I think it's like probably an 8% grade or something. Okay, here we go. We got a really slow speed limit up here. We'll just let the grade slow us down. Looks like there's not much of a grade right now. Yeah, look at that. A 1 speed limit. That's really funny. Just let the grade slow us down again. And this is like a crawl. I mean, I might be able to take it a little bit faster, right? Surely. I don't want to be too presumptuous, but like, surely you can go faster than 10 kilometers an hour. That right there is going to be a bit slower of a curve there. Well, the garage should be right around the corner here. Actually, it'll be around that corner over there, I think. Yeah, look at these curves. These are absolutely atrocious. These curves are really bad. Especially that one there. That's like the worst one. I've got a 30 zone, so. And then another 20 zone, is that? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, another 20. And then that X stands for end of track, I believe. I mean, I guess they had to use this track at some point. Oh wait, we got one more curve. Okay. Man, this is like a constant like battle of just managing my throttle because like, the grade is so steep that it's just bogging my engine down constantly. Well, this should be like the end here. Yeah, this should be where the garage is located. Yep, there it is. Finally. Alright, let's stop the locomotive here. Finally, we got the slug. Here she is. Look at that. It looks funky, but it'll work. 125,000 kilograms. So obviously, you gotta also think that yes, you do get extra power, at least with the DE2, because you don't get extra power, but you get extra like. You can use pretty much all your amps. With this thing, you got to take into account how heavy it is. So, while you can haul more tonnage, you also have to haul this thing around. So, take that into consideration when you're planning your loads. Let's attach this thing finally. I've been waiting for the slug forever. Like, since Simulator released and I realized that the slug is not going to be in immediately, I was like, oh, I want this thing immediately. Cool. Let's get this thing attached. Okay, hold on. This is fine. We're doing fine here. We're fine. Why can't I use you? I'll be able to use it at some point, I suppose. Now let's go service this locomotive at long last. I think it deserves it after this long. Now we gotta make sure we get down the hill without binning it. Let's take a little look-see here. Oh, right, because we don't have manuals, multiple light, I always get those confused, those words confused. Manual service and multiple unit. We don't have multiple units, so the light stages aren't going to transfer on. So we may as well just turn that off at this point. So we're just gonna maintain a steady 20 kilometers an hour. This is what I'm concerned about, though. Like, these things are gonna get so compressed, especially on the 10 kilometer an hour. I'm curious about that one there. Look at how compressed that's getting. That is like ultra compressed action there. I think that's the worst of like the curves, I think. Like, you can see how fast we're speeding up. It's absolutely terrible. Still speeding up too. I mean, good thing it's responsive, at least. The brakes are still really responsive with the Slug on. Actually, wasn't this the danger curve here? This was the danger curve. I need to see this for myself. Oh my god! Dude! Do you see how compressed those were? Holy shit! That was so compressed. You would not want to take that on a real locomotive. That would be like instant death for like the buffers. Your buffers, say goodbye to them. They no longer exist at that point. You could so easily just derail on this section, I think. Like, it'd be really easy to derail. Still have a 20 zone. We're not really exactly paying attention to the speed limits right now, either. These brakes are probably overheating as well. After this, we should be able to speed up, though. Let's see. It should be the 60 zone, right? It says 50, but yeah, that's fine. Now we can speed up. Look at that, 5.5. That's like, that's absurd, guys. I hope you guys realize how absurd that is. That is like really bad. Oh, we got a 40 zone. Definitely want to slow down here. Okay, we're done with the worst of it. Okay, we're good. We're off the grade. We made it without dying. That's fine. That's great. I'm happy about that. Alright, let's stop this locomotive and get it to the servicing station before we manage to blow something up. Oh, shut up. Well, D2. You'll be fine once you get your slug connected with the multiple unit. It's fine. Let's have to watch out for the switch here, actually. That has not changed since we went through. Now we should be good to punch it. It's fine. It's fine. Nothing to worry about. It's fine. It's just a little overheating. I'm sure we'll be fine. Once we get multiple unit, though, that's when stuff's gonna get real fun. I think what I might do is I will park this slug inside the service shed for now. Just keep it there until we actually need to use it. Or want to use it, I should say. So to do that, we will actually start slowing down. We're going to go on to this Y here. Just to turn us around the right way. Just get the switch to line up to that, just preemptively. Cool. Yeah, you can pull 600 amps plus maybe like 650 amps at full load without overheating, or at least destroying the traction motors on this thing with the slug attached. So it's quite awesome. You can put your full power on with this thing. I'm excited for the next episode, or actually, I'm not sure if we'll get the multiple unit license next episode, but we will definitely get it on the episode following that one. So we should be able to show off the real power of this thing relatively soon. Looks like the locomotive stayed the same. Alright, cool. This was a fun episode. I enjoyed this. This was very fun getting this little slug. I'm really excited to show this thing off. I hope you guys enjoyed that too. We'll service this locomotive and then we will end it there. So, unfortunately, SO60 is gone, and we won't have fun with that the next episodes, but we will have fun with this little slug. This is gonna make our gameplay quite interesting. We should be able to see what we can get up to. Maybe have a little bit of shenanigans going on with this thing. Can we fit... Actually, hold on. I want to do a little experiment. Can we fit a DE2 plus a DE6 Slug on this turntable at the same time? I'm actually quite interested to see if that's even possible. If so, that actually might be very useful. Okay, so we pretty much... We're on there. Ooh, that does work. Oh, that is really useful. That would be really useful for shunting operations, actually. That's a good thing to know. I'm gonna have to make use of that at some point. That is something really good to know. I also think that the DE6 Slug is actually not as long as the DE6 itself. I think it is a bit shorter because it doesn't have that fuel tank on it. So... Alright. Fuel cut off. Turn off everything. Alright, cool. Let's get this thing serviced. Ready to go. Let's see, what's the damage gonna be here? That's actually not too bad. We do... That is very good. I am actually quite satisfied with that. Now let's just go pay the emissions. We should be good to go. Let us see what the damages are. Here we go. 105 bucks. Perfect. That will end it today, guys. We're doing pretty good on money, so we only need to earn, like, what, 20 grand tomorrow? See if there's any, like, jobs we can take that will get us more or less near that. That requires long, too. That would have been good if we had that. There's a few jobs here, but yeah, that's going to end it today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this long mega episode. This is probably like 2 episodes combined into one, but I hope you guys enjoyed that today. I will probably be back in the coming days here with the episode that follows this one, and hopefully we can get the slug up and running. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I appreciate anybody who likes it and anyone who watches it for that matter. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate the support on these episodes. But that's it for me guys today, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya!